Hello, hello.
Welcome. My name is Nicola. This is an express yoga class, so it's about 30-35 minutes long. So we'll get right into it. Sitting nice and tall, coming into our centering. And this is your chance to kind of focus inward, check in with yourself. How do you feel right now? What do you need from this practice? So we'll just work with this simple belly breathing. So as you inhale, allow belly to soften and expand. And as you exhale, just drawing belly button towards spine. So using your abdominal muscles to help fully exhale. And just keeping in mind as we move through the practice this morning, that this should be your own personal practice. I'm here as a guide, but I'm just going to turn this down. You should tailor it to your body's needs. So I offer options, modifications. Feel free to take any of those, or just take a completely different posture, modify how you need until you're ready to join back in. And perhaps setting an intention for yourself for practice. What do you need? What comes up? Don't overthink it. Just take one more of these slow, deep breaths. Make sure you fully exhale. And just allow your breath to happen naturally without really thinking about it too much. We'll begin with some seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, bring chest forward, looking up. As you exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin and tailbone, round the shoulders forward. You'll just begin to flow back and forth. Just using your own breath to guide you. Just beginning to warm up the spine. Next time you find yourself in that cat stretch, you'll just pause and hold. See if you can interlace the fingers, reverse the palms, push the hands forward. On your next inhale, reach up. Now bring those hands behind the head. Keep the spine nice and long. As you inhale, just tip the chin up. As you exhale, draw elbows toward one another, tuck the chin. So pretty much most of the movement now in the spine is just in the head and neck area. And slowly, as you come up, release the arms, place the hands behind you, draw shoulder blades together, expand the chest, turn the gaze upward. And then we'll release that, coming into a forward fold. So you'll bring your hands out in front. And just kind of round the spine. So I'm just going to turn here. Don't force anything, just let gravity help here. Just rounding the spine, letting the head hang. And then gradually coming up to a tall spine. We'll find a twist here, so just twisting around to your left side. Use your left hand behind you to keep the spine nice and tall. Slowly release, take it over to the right side. And then release the twist. Make your way onto hands and knees here, finding a tabletop position. Just making sure that you stack your joints. We'll come into some cat-cow from here. So on an inhale, belly lowers, tailbone and chin tip up. As you exhale, rounding the spine, tucking chin and tailbone. So you'll just flow back and forth. If you want to add some movement, you can start to flow here. So as you round the spine to cat, you can bring hips to heels. And you'll kind of lower down onto the forearms, sweep nose across the mat, pushing up. Just take one more breath here. And then find a neutral spine. Bring the left arm forward, palm in, thumb up. Reach the right leg back, coming into bird dog. Tighten the core. Push through the heel, reach through the fingers. And slowly lower your hand down, and you'll take your foot out to the side. So you're kind of resting on the instep of that right foot. Coming up onto the left knee. We'll just find a side bend to the right. And then coming up and over, plant this left hand down. Reach the right arm up. And you can extend this right leg up. Or maybe coming into a full side plank by straightening your lower leg. Just building a little strength here. And slowly make your way back to tabletop. Just make sure you reset everything, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Right arm comes forward, palm in, thumb up. Reach your left leg back. Make yourself nice and long. Keep hips level with the mat. Draw that belly button up and in, engaging your transverse abdominal muscle. And then slowly lower the hand. Bring the foot out to the left, resting on the inside edge of that foot. Coming up onto your knee. Finding that side stretch to the right, left. It's hard doing mirror image. And then the camera reverses everything. So we're all confused. It's okay. Coming up and over, planting your right hand down, peeling the left arm up. And then you can choose to lift this leg or extend the lower leg, finding that full side plank. So just take 3 or 4 breaths here. And then slowly making your way back to tabletop. Hook your toes under, and we'll just hover the knees up here. So coming into a floating tabletop, adding a little core work here, building some strength. Very important as we move through life to keep a strong core and a supple spine, really help the back as we get older. Slowly lower the knees, and we'll come back to child's pose briefly. Take a couple of breaths here. Coming back up to tabletop, hook your toes. You can repeat that floating tabletop or step the legs back, coming into plank. Let's try to hang in for 1 or 2 more breaths here. Lowering the knees. We'll ease our way back to child's pose. Take a couple of breaths here. Just let everything relax down. Let the arms rest. Head is resting on the mat. Easing your way back up onto the knees. Bring the hands forward into the outer edges of your mat. Sink your hips about halfway back, and then allow the chest to melt down. So coming into melting heart or puppy stretch. This should allow you to expand the chest. Feel a good stretch between the shoulders. You can always come up onto the fingertips to add a little more. And flattening the palms back down. Make your way back to tabletop. Hook your toes under. And then ease those hips up, coming into downward facing dog. So we'll just be here for a few breaths. You want to make sure your weight is kind of even between hands and feet. Push your heels towards the mat. They don't have to make it all the way down, just push them in that general direction. You want to tip your tailbone up and back and draw your shoulder blades down your back and rack them forward. So these are just small movements designed to help support the spine and the shoulder joints as we hold here. And slowly walking your feet forward, just landing in a forward fold. Just let gravity be your friend here, just kind of hang. And then make your way about halfway up, coming into jackknife. So you'll want your torso parallel with the mat. You'll want to keep the crown of the head facing forward. Draw your shoulders back away from the ears. And then from here, just slowly roll all the way up. We'll come into an active breath. It's called the breath of joy. So it's a 3-part inhale. It sounds like, and then you, an active exhale breath. With the inhale, we bring the arms forward, out and up. And then you'll come forward on the exhale. If you don't want to throw yourself all the way forward, you can just keep the spine straight and swing the arms back. So I'll go, you can pick up your own rhythm. Just do a couple more. And then we'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Forward fold. And coming on up. Make sure you are towards the front of your mat. So we will be combining sun salutations and standing postures. Thank you. She obviously likes that. We'll run through a sun A, sun B, and then we'll add standing postures in. Don't worry, I'll lead you through it. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, jackknife. Exhale, fold. Planting your hands down. You can walk or hop back to a plank. Slowly lower. You can lower all the way down or kind of hover. Pushing up to cobra or lifting the knees for upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, soften the knees and look forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, jackknife and fold. Big inhale, sweeping arms out and up. Exhaling, hands to heart. So continuing to link breath with movement. Inhale here. This time, exhale, sink into chair. Inhale, exhale, fold. Going to jackknife and fold. Hands down, you can walk or hop back to a plank. Shift forward, slowly lower. Pushing through to cobra or up dog. Exhaling to down dog. Soften your knees. Your left foot will step forward. Set your knee down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands down. Stepping back to plank. Slowly chaturanga down. Cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Soften your knees. Your right foot will step forward. Set your knee down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands down. Stepping back to plank. Slowly lower. Do you want the challenge? Do you hover? Flip the feet. Into upward dog. And downward dog. Soften the knees and look forward. You can walk or hop forward. Inhale, jackknife and fold. Sink your hips into chair pose. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, jackknife. And fold, hands down, finding plank. Slowly lower. Coming through the upward dog. And downward dog. Soften your knees. Step your left foot forward. Set your back heel down. Make your way up to warrior one. Open up to warrior two. Front knee is bent. Back leg is straight and strong. Arms are out at shoulder height. Lowering backhand, flip front palm, reach up for peaceful warrior. And we'll slowly straighten that front knee, making it a reverse triangle. Bring the arms back to shoulder height, legs stay straight. We lean forward. And then windmill the arms, finding triangle. So this bottom arm can just float down there. You can grab onto your shin if you prefer, or you can bring this bottom arm out in front, palm up, for a little extra core work. Use your next inhale to bring you back up, bending into that front knee. Windmill your arms, bring them either side of your front foot, sinking your hip down to a runner's lunge. So you can step your back foot in slightly and begin to straighten your front leg for standing runner. So you can be up here for this, or you can reach down, maybe round the spine. And then finding your runner's lunge once more. We'll step back to plank. Shift forward, slowly lower. Pushing through to upward dog. Finding downward dog. Soften your knees. Step the right foot forward. Set your heel. Bring yourself up. Warrior one. See if you can find a little more bend in that front knee. Inhale. Exhale, open to warrior two. Can you get a little lower? Lowering back hand, flipping front palm. Finding peaceful warrior. Straightening that front leg for a reverse triangle. Bringing arms through shoulder height, leaning forward, finding triangle. If you stay here, you need some support by holding onto your shin. Do you reach this arm forward? What do you need from this practice? Coming on up, bending that front knee, release the back heel, bring the arms either side of front foot, finding runner's lunge. Stepping the back foot in, coming into your version of pyramid or standing runner. And then softening that front knee, back to runner's lunge. Flatten your hands, step back to plank, shift forward, slowly lower. Coming through to upward dog, downward dog. Soften the knees and look forward. Just make your way to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Sweeping arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. So we'll do a quick balance before we come onto the back. We'll come into warrior three. So balance on that left leg. Arms out at shoulder height. Lift your back toes. Tighten the core. Where do you go from here? Keep the hips level. You can tip. Keep the standing knee soft. How far do you want to take this? Do you come all the way so you're parallel with the mat? You don't have to, but if you want to, it's there for you. Slowly coming up. See if you can bring that ankle just above your knee. Sink down for a standing figure four stretch. Maybe you bring hands to heart here. And slowly release. Switching sides, engage that core, arms out to the side, hips stay level. Begin to tip. If one side is a little different to the other, just know that that's normal. Slowly coming up, bringing that ankle to knee, sinking down into the standing leg, bringing hands to heart. Slowly release. We'll just make our way down to the mat. So after you take a seat, make sure there's some mat behind you. Let's briefly come into a full body stretch here. And bring your arms down by your side. Bring the feet in. Knees are bent, feet flat on the mat. Begin to push into the feet, coming into bridge pose. Really engage the inner thighs, keeping the legs parallel, engaging the glutes, using the hamstrings. See if you can push your hips a little higher. And then slowly lower, keeping right foot down, left foot down. Bring right ankle to rest just below left knee. And then draw that left knee in. So coming into a figure four stretch. So you should be feeling a stretch in the right hip or the hip of the leg that's kind of bent across. So you want to ease that left knee in and out a couple times till you find the right stretch. Breathing into that bullseye of sensation you feel in the right hip. Take one more breath, release. Bring that foot down, switching sides. We'll just come into our figure four stretch on the other side. So maybe easing that right knee in and out a couple times before we hold. One more breath here. Slowly release. Extend the legs long, bring your arms overhead. And we'll take the legs out wide. And then you'll want to bring your right leg across, cross it over the left ankle. Grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and we'll just lean over to the left. So you're kind of creating a crescent moon shape. Feeling a stretch down that whole right side of the body. Bring your upper body back to center. Switch the wrist. So grab hold of your left wrist. Bring that right leg back to the right side. Take your left leg over, cross your ankle. Pull on that left wrist, bending over to the right. So everything is still resting down on the mat. We're just curving over to one side. And coming back to center. Bring your arms out to shoulder height. And bring your legs to a tabletop position, and we'll just begin to kind of dip the knees from side to side. And then just take your knees over to one side. At least make sure the feet contact the floor. The knees may not, and that's okay. Just let yourself relax down, maybe turning your gaze to the opposite side. Just enjoying this reclining twist. And then just bringing your legs up and over to the other side. And then making your way onto your back and finding a comfortable posture for relaxation. You can try a reclining bound angle. You can keep the knees bent, feet flat on the mat, knees resting up against one another. Or extend the legs long. And just kind of let everything surrender into the support of the floor. Limbs resting heavy. Keep the mind quiet. Just releasing all tension and effort. And just remember that if you need it, you can always stay here for longer. Otherwise, just kind of start to add a little movement, maybe rolling onto one side. And just pausing for a few breaths there. And then gradually easing your way up to seated. And once you're there, just sitting quietly with eyes closed or with a soft gaze. Just maintaining this sense of peace and calm. And take an inhale breath, pressing palms together, drawing your hands to heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.